Okay, now we're good. You can go.
Okay. So yeah, like Playful said, we're gonna be doing, or I'm gonna be doing Cosmic Quest 2 100%. Essentially, that just means we're getting all the secrets, all the cards, just pretty much everything. That's what 100% is typically. Just get everything in the game. Uh, yeah. I guess I'll introduce the 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 run once we get started. Just choose my character and then we'll be off. I forgot who I'm supposed to be choosing, so we're gonna
Ren.
Ren. Okay, cool. So I'll give you the countdown on go. 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, Mifa, do you want to introduce yourself real quick while we're go through the tutorial?
Hello, I'm Mifa. I ran 80% in the last marathon, and it went awfully.
It didn't go that bad. It wasn't really your fault what went wrong.
No,
I don't know
it
why
had a
that happened.
massive bug.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna be going through the tutorial. It's the exact same as any percent. There's nothing exciting at all. We just kind of learning how to fight, learning kind of the basic story, going through the motions as quickly as possible. So do you want to explain a little bit of the plot, Mifa, as I go through this?
Oh, I mean, you'll know the plot better than I do. Well, I don't remember how the game starts, but this like dentist guy, like he's very adverse to candy, so he kind of takes over. I'm pretty sure, and he's like, you know what? No one can trick or treat anymore, and candy is banned. And there's like robots and these creatures run around. I don't know, Bobby.
that's pretty good explanation. It's not too big of a plot. It's pretty simple. So yeah, right now we're in the future, and now we're going to the past, so we can stop the evil dentist. And here we're gonna get quite a few things while we're here. Pretty much every area has some special secrets and stuff we can get. And 80% obviously we wouldn't get most of them unless it helps us go fast, but 100% you gotta get everything, so that's what we'll be doing. We'll be going to pretty much every corner of every little area of the map. So it's gonna be a bit longer.
So the biggest things we'll be collecting in the room is all the cards, which kind of just like your generic like ability item kind of things in any RPG.
Yeah.
All of the costumes is generally like characters in an RPG, even the optional ones. We'll be getting enough candy, which is the game's currency, to buy everything from the store and complete all the quests. I think that's about everything we have to do.
Yeah. Oh, and you have to buy every map as well.
I mean, I said to buy everything from the store.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, everything except you don't have to buy any of the DLC stuff, which would add on quite a few minutes if we had to. So good thing we don't have to. So yeah, there we go. Tutorial is done. So now here we get our first actual costume where we have to go collect the costume pieces. This is the clown. Pretty useless. Doesn't do a lot of damage. Its special ability is to heal, which we're speedrunners. We don't need to heal. That's just optional. So there's nothing too exciting here with this clown costume. I guess the most exciting thing that we get to use it for is its overworld ability. Most costumes have some sort of overworld ability. So like it's helped to get through the game and stuff like that. So the clown, as we'll see right here, can honk at things, and that'll come into play quite a few areas. Like right there, we just moved that alligator out of our way, and we're going to do that to another alligator in a second. And then after that, we're going to be playing some music with our horn, because apparently in this universe, everybody thinks that the clown horn is the best instrument ever. So we kind of get some things we probably shouldn't with that clown horn. Like right over here, we're gonna compete with this kid with our clown horn. He's got his well, whatever the instrument thing. I don't know instruments other than a clown horn, but
I believe that would be called a violin.
Violin. beats me. Yeah, sure. Yep, violent. But yeah, so we just kind of honk our horn at him a bunch, and eventually he'll give up and say that we win. And so we get our costume pattern for Pterodactyl, which we will be using for all of the fights in this area. We use 3 costumes for fights in this area, and that is the superhero, the Pterodactyl, and the what's it called? And the pumpkin, of course. Pumpkin being the best costume we have this in early game. It's nice because its special does half the health of every enemy in the fight, so it's very useful. But you know, it is a DLC costume, so we couldn't get it without, I don't know, you have to pre-order the game, which is a little late for that now, or you would have to essentially change the hex code of the game to get it, which is what I have done. So
Or do what I did and happen to buy a lucky Steam key.
yeah, that is also another way. But it saves time in every category, all 3 of them, because he's just a really good character, and he replaces Clown, which is what we would be using here in this bayou area. So it's definitely very very worth it to get the pumpkin costume. It also puts everybody in level playing field editing the hex code, so there's not people who are just saving time because somebody got a lucky Steam key and just managed to get the DLC costumes. So we'll be buying that costume after we exit this area.
So in this first area, Bob's doing a couple of things at once, kind of multitasking.
Yeah.
He's playing hide and seek with a bunch of kids. There's one of those in each main area of the game. He's trick-or-treating a couple of houses that guarantee him candy, which he can use to buy things. And he's also finishing this quest, which he's doing right now, which is the music quest.
And again, we're just honking our horn a bunch, and it just kind of works. But yeah, the pretty much every area of the game, we're just doing a lot of stuff at once. Like Mifa said, there's a quest to get the trick-or-treat kids in every main area. There's all the secrets that we're getting. We have to trick-or-treat at every house in the game, which is something we haven't mentioned. In every area except for the first one, when you have to go trick-or-treat, you can just, like, they're all, none of them are random in the sense that you're always going to get, like, a house that will have an enemy that you'll have to attack. And it'll be that every time. Or it'll be a house that you get candy from every time. So there's no randomness in that regard. So we always know which is which. But in the other areas, we can just go to the houses that only give us candy and then we're done. But in 100% we have to go to every house, which you would think would lose time, and it does inherently lose time, but we have to fight a bunch of enemies anyway, and it helps us just level up sooner, so we're able to take out the higher level enemies quicker later in the game. So even it's pretty useful.
Much later in the game anyway, you're going to need to grind a bunch of enemies for candy to buy things, so it just doesn't really matter getting them out of the way.
Yeah, you might as well just do it, because if you skip as many fights as you can, then you're just gonna have issues later on when you're at the end of the game and the level or the enemies are higher powered and stuff like that. It's just gonna take longer to take them out, and you might not even win some of the fights, which would obviously lose a lot of time. Now we are honking our horn some more. I think that's like the last time we do it in this area. I don't think we had to honk anymore. But we will be doing it later in the game at 2 or 3 places, something like that. See, every costume that you get that has an overworld ability, you'll use in 2 different areas, pretty much. That way, if you do manage to skip something, like skip a costume entirely, you haven't really skipped it, because you would have to skip it in multiple places essentially, which is near impossible as far as we know. So right now we are done with that. We are now level 3, which is very important. Let me buy the maps as well. And so we bought a couple things right there. We bought 2 creepy treat cards, which one of them doubles our candy in a battle. So that's the wrong enemy, right character. So that's important because we're grinding a lot of candy. We want to use that card as much as possible. And then also we got what's it called? Succums, which allows one of your characters to attack twice. And then the final card, or final thing we got was the pumpkin costume, which, as I spoke of a second ago, is the best costume in early game. We use it for most of the run as well, like outside our early game, but we don't use it the entire time. So that is very useful to have.
Yeah, usually if there's a non-boss enemy, maybe like a mini-boss or something,
Yeah.
and it happens to be weak to pumpkin, we'll just use it.
Yeah. And another
probably something else. Something else we should touch on is there's a kind of like rock paper scissors type system in terms of combat, where I'm trying to remember which way around they go.
Well, it's not exactly rock paper scissors. Usually it's just it's sort of, I'm not entirely sure how it works either. I just know some characters are strong. There's 3 enemy types. First of all, there's monster, tech, and magic. And depending on your costume, each one is different, is strong and weak to different things. And so, like, superhero is strong to magic but weak to tech. What's his face? Pumpkin is strong to monster but also weak to tech. And Pterodactyl strong to monster, weak to tech, I believe. So if they're strong to an enemy, that means they're going to deal more damage to that enemy when they do attack them. And if they're weak, that means they're going to deal less. And they will also take more damage as well. It's something else to remember. So now we're actually starting our fights. We are only 10 minutes in, we're actually starting to fight. And something I just did there that we haven't touched on yet, but it's pretty important, is as soon as I hit level 3, I immediately ran back to the future, through that time portal we went through, and I went to Corvus, who is the dude who showed us how to attack stuff at the very start of the game. He's important because every 3 levels, you'll get like some sort of new attacking or offense or defense ability or something of that nature. So right then we just got combos, and combos allows us to essentially attack twice per turn. Let's see.
Bob's audio just actually cut, so we were gonna fix that real fast. So just stay tuned, but the gameplay will still be there. Let me check this stream.
Okay, just let me know when they could hear and stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah, my PC hates me, so I knew this might happen, but I planned ahead. So we're just gonna forget about that. I don't need to hear game audio. That's for chumps. Anyway, I don't know what I was saying. Oh yeah, we got combos. Combos is important because it allows us to attack twice in a turn. Essentially, the second attack doesn't do as much damage, but it just deals more damage overall, essentially. So right now our goal is just to get through as many fights as quickly as possible. All of these fights are mandatory. You have to fight everything in this area. Every health pantry tree that you have to go to. Otherwise, later on, Will Bones, who is the guy we need to give all our candy to. Or, he tasked us with trick-or-treating, where we don't have to give him candy and stuff. But he gets mad at us if we don't go to every house. So that's essentially what we're doing now. We're just going to every area every house in this area, and we're just going in, attacking everything.
Alright, yeah. So Bob.
You just weren't saying. I was
Oh, no.
worried my Discord was dead.
Oh no, I'm here. So Bob's got quite good RNG in these past 2 fights. He's gotten 1 enemy to spawn in. So you can get anywhere from 1 to 3, and preferably you want to get just 1, because obviously it's the fastest to take out 1. You still get the same amount of XP and candy and stuff for just defeating 1 rather than
0 difference. Yeah. And something else we're looking for in this area, with these fights specifically, is Ghost Munch, which is a card. You have a chance after each one of these battles to get a card called Ghost Munch. And the reason we want that is because there's a kid with a quest who says, "Hey, I need 2 Ghost Munch cards, or I need the Ghost Munch card. If you get a duplicate, give that to me." So we have to get 2 of them because we can't give him 1 until we have 2, and of course we need both anyway, just for the game to, or just for the 100%, because we have to get all the cards. So once we are eventually able to get that, we have to go back to that kid and give him a duplicate. So it's a lot faster to get it right here when we're already close to him, but there is a backup that if we don't get it by then, we're almost guaranteed to get it later at least. But if we don't get it by the time we get over to him, we usually just run back after the boss fight. So it's not a big deal, but it is a bit faster. And plus, we'd hit level 4 earlier if we talked to him and got him the duplicate. I think I do have the duplicate. I think that was the second one. So looks like we're good. Don't have to worry about that. That's something where it's kind of annoying in any percent, because you kind of, if you don't get it, you kind of screwed. And something else I just did there is I talked to a guy. He said, it's one of the quests, and he says, "Hey, I'm gonna be rich in the future. If you give me a 200 candy investment, then I'll give you 1,000 candy later at some point." So we give him 200. In the future, we can go back and talk to him, and he will give us 1,000 candy. So that helps for candy grind, and as I said, it's a quest, so we have to do it anyway. We don't really have a choice. But it is a nice thing to have 1,000 candy. Essentially, when we're candy grinding at the end, that's essentially 5 fights. It's a little less. It's like 4.5 or something, but it is very much worth it to do that. And we do that in any percent as well. So it's a lot of candy. Very good to have that. And again, if we do forget about him, and then it's not a big deal. We just come back and get him later. That's the thing. There's a lot of backups and stuff. We visit this area later in the game, so we don't have to worry about anything of that sort. Like, oh no, I forgot this. Well, I'll be back anyway. I'll cross by that path twice. So there's a lot of backups, and we just got our final trick or hide and seek kid. So we now have an upgraded candy pail, so we can hold more candy, and a little secret thing that most people don't know that it does is it increases your your health and damage by just a very small amount. The later ones have bigger impact, and also it's not supposed to fight. That's I was trying to be too fast, so I will have to run back all the way back over there. Not a big deal. There's quite a few fights where there's enemies that are kind of blocking a chest or something that we need to get a card from. And there's quite a few of them we can just kind of ignore and not fight. Like that dude, when he turns around, we can grab the chest and just keep on running. There's a couple moles later on that are like that as well. I probably could have gotten it, but I'm going to be safe and wait. As long as you're just behind him, he can't see you. I got him as he turned last time, so it didn't work, but... And because he's a snail, he's very slow, so we don't have to worry about that. So it's good. Okay, now we have our last fight of the bayou. So that means we're gonna need, we're gonna be done with the bayou, but we're gonna have 3 more fights in the French Quarter. So we are just getting close to finishing here. And then we will fight a boss, and then we'll be out of here. I just need to double check that I have everything. That is quite important. It would suck to miss something. So, yeah, and these fights aren't too exciting. My RNG has not been too bad. I've definitely had worse. I've had quite a few 1 enemy fights, and this one's 2 enemy. But 3 enemy fights just suck. They're annoying.
But don't jinx yourself. You've still got a couple to go.
That is true. Yeah. Well, I think my PB had really good RNG in the second area in the French Quarter. So
Now we just go through and fight them. I need to change my character order. There we go. Yeah, so now we're going to be trying to hold ourselves back from using specials a little bit because we do need to use specials for the boss fight. And this is the last fight I can use specials without like having a risk of not having all my specials for the boss fight. And the boss fight isn't anything too exciting. It is, of course, because this is an RPG. It has RNG with its attacks, but usually we're okay. I don't know. I say that, and then I get screwed over with the attacks. It's kind of annoying, and it all depends. Oh my gosh, I missed 2 blocks in a row. Not paying attention. But usually, the boss fight's pretty easy. We use a combination of some cards and all of our special abilities to take them out pretty quickly. And the pumpkin helps a ton on that boss fight. Like I said earlier, Pumpkin's special ability is he does half an enemy's health, or it takes out half an enemy's health with his special ability. That doesn't apply to all enemies. Obviously, if there's a boss that's got like over 1,000 health, there's a couple bosses that have over 1,000 health. Obviously, he's not gonna do half damage there. There's a certain limit of when he will stop doing half damage. But this boss is before that limit. So the boss has 500 health. Use Pumpkin's ability straight away, it does 250 damage. So it's pretty nice not having to worry about having to take out half its health. It saves a lot of time to use that over anything else. Alright, and again we got another 3 enemy fight, so that's fun.
Oh, this is like the possible worst RNG you can get for this, which is 2 tech guys and a magic guy.
Yeah, because our loadout right now, there's 2 people that are strong to and one strong to magic and 2 strong to monster. So the superhero is pretty good at taking out the magic dude, but then all 3 of our costumes are weak to tech. So tech enemies early game suck because it takes so long to take them out. Like it's only got 100 health. Usually I could take that out with 2 enemies or two of my characters, but now it takes 3 and I just waste time. Like I'm even getting like good hits and stuff, and it's still taking forever because every hit just loses a percentage of the damage it would have dealt. Like you can see the original enemy see 9 and then goes down to 8. It kind of drops damage when you're doing this. Okay, now we have one more fight on French Quarter, and then we are out of here. I'm good on candy. I will need to buy a costume upgrade once we fight this last enemy group right here. Okay, not very good RNG, but it could have been worse. At least we had, I know. At least we didn't have tech enemies. That's about all it could be that would make it worse. Because the combatants, which are the monster enemies, they have 150 health. So they take a little while to take out. But we are level 4, so everything's going down a little quicker. If we didn't get that kid earlier who gave us a duplicate card, we'd still be at level 3 right now. And we'd get level 3, or we'd get level 4 right after this. So our XP works out pretty well for early game, and then in late game, it gets to a point where XP just doesn't really matter because it just gets to a point where it just doesn't affect us. Like in late game, like we're not gonna hit level 12. Level 12 is the max level. We're not gonna hit level 12 unless we get a certain card super early. We use it a bunch. There's one card that doubles our XP output from each, or from a battle when it's used. So that one is very useful at any percent, but it's useful in this, but not as useful. Basically, we get up to level 11, and then we're kind of done. So now we're done trick-or-treating here. We're going up. We have to. If somebody just took our candy, it's the evil dentist, but in the past. So he's a kid right now. So he took our candy. We got to go run over to his house, take it back, and then we run to Little Bones, and we give him the candy that we made. I also almost forgot. We need to talk to Shady, buy that, and we're good. Okay, so now I have the superhero upgrade, which cuts down a lot of time on the next boss as well. It does a lot. Superhero does a lot of damage with the upgrade. It's very useful to get pretty much as soon as possible on every every costume that we use in the run, we want to get the upgrade. So it's routed out pretty closely. There are certain costumes that you can't get till you're a certain level. Like, for example, the Pterodactyl, I think you can only get the upgrade at like level 5 or something. Let me change my order. There we go. So there's one thing we have to do here, other than fight the boss. We have to go up here and get this thing. Be very careful, because there's that ground that's kind of moving in front of us, and there's a mole down there. We don't want to fight that. That's just a waste of our time. So I got that. Got the secret. Don't have to worry about anything. And now we're just talking to these people. Okay, and now to fight the boss. We can get bad RNG here. Oh, I forgot to heal. We should be fine. We don't usually take much damage here anyway. So right off the bat, I usually use both my specials because obviously Pumpkin takes him down to half health, and then Pterodactyl just does a bit more damage. Okay, good. We didn't get the bad RNG. The bad RNG is if he uses his time freeze ability, which stops one of our teammates from doing anything, and if he uses that on the superhero, that really screws us up. Oh, please. Okay, good. So now he's got his clock. Clock is annoying because if he uses his clock, then he'll go all the way back to full health. But fortunately, we don't let that happen. Okay, the clock's at 1 health. And we'll attack the clock. And then the special ability I used earlier on Pterodactyl will take him down to 1 health. So it works out pretty well. And there we go. Something else I want to do usually is switch to this card. That way it'll speed up our next fight a little bit when we have to go fight Principal Bojim, because we don't have any other cards that we can use that'll help us, and that one helps us just a bit. So anything we can do to speed up anything really is what we want to do. And because it's a marathon run, I'm going to check really quick and make sure I have everything before I run away.
I didn't think about using that card in any percent.
Yeah, that's what I've started doing. Okay, we're good. There's one secret we can't get until we come back later. Because we have to have a costume we don't upgrade, or we don't get until much later in the game. But we got everything else, so we are good, ready to go off to Principal Bojim. Which, okay, it's not an exciting fight at all, because we only have that one card that we can use. It's pretty slow, and it's just nothing we can really do to speed it up at all, other than that singular card. And that card, by the way, is a guaranteed drop from the Chronoculus boss fight we just did. So it's a very reliable way to just have something to speed up the fight. Because we don't do anything till then. Our specials aren't going to refresh. We're just going to be just kind of stuck there. It's just slow. There's a couple boss fights that are like that, where we don't, like, our cards aren't refreshed. Can't really do anything. It's just a slow fight.
So here we're going to get one of the best costumes that in the game.
Yeah.
We'll use it for the entire run, pretty much.
Yeah, my favorite costume. It just does a lot of damage. But yeah, so right now we are in a dental, something else, like a school like a dental boarding school. That's the word. So we're now in the future as well, which is this dystopian society that that has no Halloween or candy or trick-or-treating or anything like that, which the evil dentist rules over. And so now we're talking to, we're in detention with I forgot her name, but it's the daughter of one of our friends, who, in the present, they're the same age as us, but we're in the future, so they're adults and they're married now. So that's their kid right there that is with us, and she's given us a costume pattern to get this costume that we're about to get, which is what allows us to get out of here and then go fight the boss. Because he's got a cool overworld ability called diplomacy, where we are able to kind of talk to people and convince them to do stupid stuff to help us. So now we are Thomas Jefferson with his diplomacy. So we talk to this guy, and we use diplomacy, and then he just walks out of the way. And this is where all of our costumes and everything, all of our candy and everything like that, that's where that was. And we switch real quick, and now we have our loadout for the fight. So, like I said, nothing really exciting here. We just kind of just do it as quickly as possible. So what I'm going to do, start off though, That card is the card I switched to right after that boss fight, and it maxes out somebody's special ability. So I use that on Pumpkin because, like you just saw, he does almost 400 damage in one hit. It's a lot, in case you weren't aware. That's like a third of that dude's health, which is really speeds up this fight. But that's about all we can do to speed it up. Nothing really to do. Just kind of try to get good attacks and use our specials when we're able to. So it doesn't look like we're probably going to be able to use Pumpkin special. We might use Superhero special. That might be the only one we're able to use before the fight's over. He's already at half health now. Like, it goes by decently quick, I guess. And we do have an opportunity starting from this fight until pretty much the end of the game where we can get a card called Tongue Punchers. And that's the one that doubles our XP. So that's useful for getting us to level 11. So we can just fight everything a little quicker. And we destroy the final boss. Like in any percent, we just barely make it to level 9. But, because that's the minimum level you need to be to beat that boss as far as we know. So, we absolutely demolish him at level 11. It's not even fair. We just bully him. He gets killed so quickly. Like, it's pretty easy. Like in any percent, we meticulously have planned out how to quickly take him out without wasting any time, and then we just kind of blow past him in any percent or 100%. It's pretty trivial, which is nice. You don't want a hard final boss. That's just annoying. Because usually runs don't die to the final boss. Usually runs die to not having level 9 before the final boss. That's where a run would die in 80%. But there's no worries in 100%. So I could use my special there, but I'm going to save it for the next fight. Because it would only save like one thing. So I might as well just save it for a little later. They almost all have their special abilities by now. And there we go. Now he's dead. He's just gone. Okay, we did not get the card we needed, but we did get something. I don't know. Other than the cards we specifically use in the run, there's not really too many there that we care about. Because we're going to get them all just by fighting everything. And by the way, this is where we start our next hide and seek kids. That's where we start finding them. We just found one over there. And then there's, I think, one in the next area. Maybe, no. There's not one in Old Auburn Pine. No, there is one in Old Auburn Pine. Which is where we're going now. And this is the greatest difference between 80% and 100%. It's just having to fight, or greatest difference before late game. We have to fight all these houses that take forever. But like I said, you kind of have to if you want to not be under-leveled later in the game. So we just kind of deal with it. It's not a super big deal. Because we get some candy and XP from them, so it works out. At some point we're going to have to start spending our candy, because it does get to a point where we need to spend candy before there's before we start losing out, because our candy pails, and this is another reason, something we get from the hide and seek kids, there's a maximum amount of candy we can hold. So I think for this one we can hold 3,000 candy, and once we get to 3,000 candy it just stops giving us candy, and so it's we just lose out on candy that we could be getting. We don't want to do that, of course, so we make sure to spend it before we hit that limit, because we're gonna get 1,000 from that one guy who I spoke about earlier, who we gave 200 candy to, and is giving us stuff in the future. Okay, well, there's a little trick that we do. It's not really named for it, but you can kind of use your boost that makes you go faster on the little wheels or whatever this thing's called. You kind of just glide up things. We're about to do it again here, so that makes us skip that a fight with that robot over there, and it just gets to the chest a little quicker if you can do it quickly. And I did not, of course, but I optimally very quick. So I had to kind of wait for that snail to move out of the way, but it's not too bad. Crap, I don't have mine. Let's get that in. I don't have my Snicket's card equipped, which is the one that doubles candy. Oh, I need to try to do that. But it's not a big deal. We don't get too much candy here anyway. We just want to use it throughout the whole run, just to cut out on candy grinding later in the run. And candy grind takes well over 20 minutes. Or just running around and fighting enemies. Quite annoying, but that's just how 100% works in a lot of games. You just gotta grind out to buy everything. So we'll be doing that later, and that's where we're gonna have quite a bit of downtime, trying to just mumble through the run. So this RNG's not been very good so far. I've had 3 enemies in both fights. Like we spoke about earlier, you can have from 1 to 3 enemies, and sometimes the enemies are randomized as well, like what type of enemy you can get. But typically they follow like a pattern of like, usually if there's a couple patterns for 3 enemies. You can get like 1 of each type, 1 monster, 1 mech, or one monster, 1 tech, and 1 magic. You can also get like 2 tech or 2 monster and a tech, 2 monster and a magic. Like here's 1 of each again. You just fight them like there's nothing special. It isn't as slow now. Earlier it was pretty slow fighting tech enemies because nobody was strong to tech, everybody's weak to tech. But Jefferson is the only costume we have that is strong to tech, and like I said, he is one of our stronger costumes that we use in the run. Oh no, I was not paying attention. Okay, superhero's dead. Guess that's a loss we'll have to take. Oh no, it's not going well. Because he just healed as well. We should be fine. Fortunately, Jefferson is weak to magic. We gotta deal with that. But...
How much do you donate per death?
Oh, I don't. See, I don't have the money to donate. If I could donate, I would, but you know, other people can. Oh my gosh, they're actually being smart.
Well, speaking of donations, do I have time to plug the charity a little bit?
Go ahead.
Awesome, thank you so much. So, if you weren't aware, we are doing a charity live stream to benefit Child's Play. They are a charity that works to provide hospitalized children and teens with access to video games during their recuperation. I'd just like to remind you folks that you can type !donate to get the donation link, where you can donate as much or as little as you like. As long as your message is family friendly, you might even be able to hear it read on stream. And currently we have a incentive that I personally would love to see met. It is called Kuno Runs Thiv. That requires a $50 flat donation all in one shot. But if you want to see Kuno get really, really sad, go ahead and mute that, because it's going to be a really bad time. And back to you.
Yeah, sounds like a great donation goal to try to aim for. But yeah, we're almost finishing up in Auburn Pines right now. We've got I may or may not have ran away from the fight, so I technically didn't die. I'm just gonna point that out. But I think this is the last one. I need to double check. Did I fight everything? I gotta go to this now. Yes, okay. So now we are done with fighting in this area. All we have to do is slowly creep past that guy. There we go. And now we are getting the last costume piece for the wizard, which is like a secondary goal in this area. I guess there's 2 goals in this area that the game tells you to do. You got to get the costume pieces for the wizard, which we'll be using later on in the game, and then we will also have trick-or-treat all the houses, which we have done now. So now we talk to this kid. He'll give us the costume pattern for the wizard, and we're all done in there. Then we go back to talk to Sadie, I think is her name, who was the one who tasked us with going to all those houses and getting trick-or-treating and stuff. To buy some random cards and stuff. Wait, I didn't buy enough. Actually, I can just do that. There we go. So yeah, now I've bought just anything, because I need to buy everything, pretty much. So I just bought a bunch of stuff so I wouldn't be overflowing on candy at some point in the run. And yeah, this is where we start with our one of two optional costumes. Okay. This one is kind of annoying because sometimes the trigger doesn't work for following the dude. But essentially, there's these claw marks everywhere, and we have to use our little flashlight thing to try to track them. Just follow the tracks. So that's what we are starting to do. This will go over into the next area as well. So it's not just this area. And where am I going? Yeah, so there's more claw marks there. This is another house that we have to fight. So, and I have yet again forgotten to switch to the double candy card, so we'll have to do that at some point. Very important I don't forget that, but like I said, we don't. It's not as important this part of the game, just because there's just not as much candy that these fights give out. So doubling it would be as useful. Obviously, of course, it would be useful, but it's not like detrimental to the run or anything. We'll be doing plenty of candy grinding at the end anyway, so just in case anybody's excited for that. Maybe we got another like an hour. We got less than an hour till candy grind starts.
So Bob, what's the plan? What are we going to do during candy grind?
That is a good question. I'm not entirely sure. We can anybody, if there's any ideas, that'd be great. Probably could have planned this ahead a little bit more, but it's not. I'm not the organizer. It's not my job. I'm just the person doing the inputs.
If anyone in chat has any suggestions for what we can do for like 20 minutes.
Here's go, start a podcast or something. Okay, so now we're just following the things. We kind of just press B a lot, just following. Cause you don't really have to follow it that much. You just kind of like hit B. All you have to do is trigger him saying stuff like, yeah, okay. So right there it said, darn, he's hopped the security wall. So now we've hopped over, or now we have triggered that next part of the quest. I forgot to heal again. We might die. We're gonna give this to him. So, yeah, we shouldn't die. Oh, that did a lot of damage. There, he's dead. That's cool. Definitely planned all this out. I will need to remember to change to that card. I've said that the past like 3 or 4 fights and I've yet to do it. So I need you to remind me, Mifa. Don't let me forget. Very important.
I'll say it over and over again until you remember.
Yep, that's eventually it'll stick. Yeah, he does so much damage. Look at that. He's just dead. He's murdered him. It's fine. They're the bad guys. They deserve to be murdered, right? I guess from their perspective, we're the bad guys.
I didn't know it would bring ethics into a trick or treat game.
Hey, there's a lot of deeper meaning behind this game. Can't you tell?
Bob, change the card.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Snickets. There we go. Screw you, frostbites. We don't need you. I'm also going to eat, so I don't die. It'd be kind of a bad thing. Okay, there's these tracks, and it goes over here. Gets to top the fence again. Thank you. And then, so we got 2 more fights here. We have this one, and just 2 more. This one we have to fight a snail as well. So we will make sure to do that. The snail is blocking a costume piece that we need, which is kind of important.
It's not a snail.
Snail. Oh yeah, it's a mole.
It's a mole.
Yeah, whatever. They're the same. They're both mini bosses.
I mean,
So,
they are essentially the same enemy.
Yeah, pretty much. Just they don't do anything exciting, except the mole. His attack's a little slower. That's a lot of damage. So just 2 more enemies to attack in this area. I have rerouted this a little bit recently because we have to backtrack to an area, or we used to have to backtrack to an area, but now we backtrack less. If that makes sense. Because we have to go. Because there's a secret. There's like a creepy treat card in a chest that we have to go back to after getting the costume. So I thought, like, why don't we just get it when we get the costume, like after we don't have to backtrack. So pretty good. Yeah, okay. And there you hop the fence. Cool. So Now we gotta talk to this dude. And he's gonna say, no, leave me alone. But then we just use diplomacy and he listens for some reason. So, it's nice. And we hit that thing a bunch, that pinata. And then we're gonna get, usually in any percent, this would be the last thing we get. Because then we just go here, we slide down that little pole, or not pole, like string or whatever that thing is next to us. And then we'd be on our way up. But we don't do that now because of the, we backtrack down here and then we backtrack over here. So now we don't have to backtrack to the another area we're about to go to after this fight. So I'd say it saves a little bit of time. It's not anything major, but it's something to save time at least. Oops. It's kind of annoying running around with the dash. It can get kind of obnoxious at times. Because
your turning circle isn't fantastic.
Yeah. And see here, he does 218 damage. So now he's at half health. Probably shouldn't have attacked the Jefferson. Would have done a little more damage, but oh well. I need to use the card here to double the candy. But that's something else about the candy grind. It's you have 3 cards essentially that you use to help yourself get more candy and stuff like that. Yeah, it's one that doubles candy, one doubles XP, and then one gives you 100 candy. So that's what we use for a combination of cards at the end of the game, and it's the fastest way to candy grind. Keep going through all the fights at the end. And
So would you say with all the backtracking that this game now counts as a Metroidvania?
I guess it is. Yeah. So here's the last costume piece we need right here. And usually we just kind of hop over. We could do another like spot where we glitch up and go over the edge right there. But we're not doing that here. We are going up the intentional way we're supposed to leave. And then we are going down here to get our last secret of the area. There's only 3 of them. Some useless card here. Yeah, happy head. No clue what that does. It's not important. Okay, yeah. Now it said yeah, it told us the tracks went back in the sewers, so we need to track the tracks again. We go over here to the left, and here's our 4th hide-and-seek kid. Yeah, okay, we're on track still. And now we go in here, we give them another password, talk to this dude, and he's gonna like say, oh, I need somebody to trick-or-treat for me, but I can't think of anybody, and so we say, oh yeah, we can trick-or-treat for you. And then, okay, now he says something, and we hop up. And then let me trigger this because I forget every time. Yeah, those tracks leaving the building. Cool. And now we can do a little something. We can talk to Shady with our diplomacy for Jefferson. He'll give us a discount. So that's cool. I might have bought too much there actually, but it's probably fine. Because by the end of this, we have to buy a costume upgrade for Jefferson, which is I think it costs $13.50. 1,350 candy. I think is what it costs. So
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, so we have to buy that at the end, so we'll have it ready for the next boss fight. And we can technically also buy the wizard upgrade as well if we have enough candy. Oh, he's in 1. No, that's in 1. We can technically buy the wizard upgrade, but we don't need to. We don't use them until a little later, and we can run by the shop at some point as well. So it's not out of the way when we do buy them. So it's not like we have to worry about it. And I mean, if I have the candy, I might as well buy it, but it might not even be worth it. I might just buy something cheaper. Because we can also talk to Shady again later, and he'll give us another discount. So instead of it being 10% off like it is now, it'll be 20% off. So that's something new. I can't entirely remember the level you need to be. That's how it's determined. If you're a certain level, you can use that again. I think it's level 8. 7 or 8? No, it can't be. It's probably level 8. So that's what we would normally do. But you know, it's all about just remembering. There's a lot of stuff to keep track of. It's kind of difficult sometimes, especially when you're so used to any percent just blowing past everything. It gets kind of confusing if you're not paying attention. So now we've got 5 trick-or-treat kids. There'll be, I say trick-or-treat every time. Hide-and-seek kids. There'll be one more up top that we're going to be getting later. And then pretty much that means we don't have to, oh crap. I'm just going to run away. I'm at 9 health for superhero. I wasn't going to risk it. I forget to eat sometimes. Because eating costs 25 candy. Oh boy, this took me back a lot further than I thought it would. But yeah, 25 candy, it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're eating a lot, then it does kind of, it adds up over time. And because we're so focused on candy grinding, we kind of want to do it as little as possible. And we got better RNG anyway, so we might have even saved time with that. We only have 2 enemies instead of 3. So yeah, I need to switch Pumpkin the first slot. Because I'm never able to use I never want to use his ability since it doesn't do as much damage if somebody attacks first. Probably should use it anyway, but like if he's first slot, I don't have to worry about that. He's gonna be the first one to attack. There's a lot of keeping track of your abilities and stuff like that in this game. You gotta kind of just think about what's better to use now, or what's better to save for the next fight, or when should I use this ability, stuff like that. You've got to keep track of it a lot. It's can be kind of a handful as well. There's a lot to keep track of in this game throughout the whole time. Especially since this is 100%, we have to keep track of all the secrets, the creepy trick cards, getting as much candy as possible. So a lot of stuff, a lot of things in this run. 100% is more optimized and more focused on RNG, but it's a lot less to keep track of, at least. 100%, that's the nicer thing about 100%. You don't really have to deal with the RNG as much. Like, it saves time. There's more fights and stuff, but because there are more fights, RNG just kind of balances out over time. Just because there's so much. Like, it's not super much to deal with. And also, my dogs are freaking out. I don't know if you can hear that, but they are being very loud.
Yes, we can.
Oh, they'll be quiet in a second, hopefully. They don't like the garage door. Anyway, so now we're up here. We just talked to some, I don't know, business owner or something. I forget how this goes, but we just talked to some dude, and he has tasked us with getting this other dude to sign a contract. I forget what the contract's for, but I think it's for his billboard, and he needs somebody else to sign it. Oops, that's the wrong button. And he needs somebody else to sign it. It's just a mess. So we have to go to 3 different like business owners or something and talk to them. One of them owns this billboard that's getting a lot of traffic coming into his business. It's like a club or something. And the other one wants the billboard. They're business partners, and they're like, "Hey, see if you can get this dude to sign this contract." And then we get him to sign it, and then, spoiler alert, he puts another billboard in front of the billboard, so he just signed off the billboard and just made another one anyway, so it doesn't really affect him.
This is why you read the fine print.
Yep. And he sold it to him for like a 100-year contract or something, so he couldn't get out of it. But yeah, we'll be talking to those guys in a second. This is also where we're gonna get our very first optional costume. It's the tracks that we've been following for quite a while now. Here's some more tracks. Again, this is quite annoying. I did a run yesterday, and it just refused to give me the tracks. Like, I was holding B, and it just wouldn't do anything. So, let's hope that doesn't happen now. I lost like 2 minutes doing it. Okay, so that dude's in the way. We're just gonna hold B. Maybe it'll pop up. Oh, the tracks aren't here. I don't know why it's like this. Please. Okay, I don't know how to fix this. I'm just gonna run back. Maybe it's because I went through this thing. Maybe he just didn't like that thing. Sneak past him. Yeah, okay. And they just stop. I don't understand this. There they are. Now I have to wait for this dude. So I'm just gonna hide over here. There's nothing I can really do to save time. I'm just gonna sit here, run around. Because if I open any menus, it's just gonna pause the game and they will stop moving. Yeah, I have 2 or 3 more secrets in this area, along with the costume I'm about to get. The other optional costume is really cool. The way you get it, there's a lot of stuff you have to go through. I'm too scared of that. We're just gonna wait. Take it safe. Safe saves time if you do it right. And there we go. So it's a werewolf. It's just some kid in a werewolf costume that's been running around causing terror to all the guards and stuff. I might be able to get past this even if I want to. Nope. Okay, that's fine. It's quicker to just try to fight him and run away. Not a big deal. That werewolf costume is kind of useless. We just get it because we have to. Because we have to get a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's not very good. It's just kind of a thing. We do use it later, but not in a fight. We use it for something else. We use it to get the other optional costume, which we have to go through this quite convoluted and just long process. We have to buy 3 costume upgrades, talk to some dude, go to the past, go to the future again, go to the past again, and then climb up a big tree. That's the quick way of explaining how to do it. But it's pretty cool. It was cool to figure it out casually.
Is that costume of any use?
No, it's not.
Oh.
It's pretty useless. So yeah.
I remember in my casual playthrough it being one of the better costumes.
Maybe it is, maybe it's not. It's something we can figure out, I guess. But I'm just frankly quite lazy, and I don't really want to figure it out. So I just do what I'm comfortable with, which is something I guess we could see what he's strong to and weak to and stuff. So that's something at least. And here's the last hide and seek kid. I almost still called him a trick or treat kid. So yeah, now we hop down here for our second to last secret of the area. Just some Schaefer's wafer. Yeah, I don't know what that does. Probably not useful. There's a lot of very useless cards because like they just kind of affect the minions in ways like it's not worth it. Sometimes there's some that are useful for like a one-time use, but they're not useful to keep in your party to like because every card you have has a different cooldown, and it's like different. It's different per card. Like the Succums, which you can use, or which is the one that allows a teammate to attack twice. That one's pretty useless, or pretty useful, and you can use it every other fight. So that's something. Every other fight is very nice to use that on. Sometimes it's not like used in every other fight just because it just doesn't need to be used, because it takes up a turn as well. So you gotta like factor out, would it actually save time? Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. But then there's cards like the peanut butter bombs, which take out every enemy in a fight. But it takes 5 turns or 5 battles before you can use it again. So it's very, very useful for one fight, but it's not useful to keep. So we just kind of get rid of it. That was very scary. I thought I was gonna get stopped by that dude. We just wasted quite a bit of time. So we are almost out of here. We have to do one more thing. So now, and then that's where the other billboard gets put in front of it. So the last thing we have to do is run over here and get the Jefferson upgrade. So there we go. Now we are... Hit A, please. Okay, now we're done with downtown. And so we're going to go fight Ophirion. Still not entirely sure how to say his name, but... it's the boss fight that lets us get into... Actually, before I leave, let's be smart. Yeah, okay, we're good. Just had to double check everything, make sure I had everything I needed. But, it's just something that's here. It allows us to get to the dental compound, which is where we're at the final area we unlock of the game. It's just kind of takes us through pretty much everything we need to do to beat the game. There's another boss fight we have after this, which is a rematch with Pinoculus. He's a total pushover the second time. He does less damage the second time, and he doesn't have the clock. So it's pretty easy boss fight. And then we have the final boss, and then those are the only 2 boss fights. So we don't really have to worry about that. We have quite a few other things to get. We have to get the hide and seek kids. We have to get some secrets, some extra fights, and then that's also with the candy grind. We have to get some extra fights outside of the candy grind because we need to get a duplicate card, which can be gained from any card in that area or any fight in that area. A lot of them are fights that we don't get, so there's a high chance we're not going to get it just from fighting normally, like from the robots and stuff that we use to candy grind. So that's usually what we do. Okay, yeah, this boss fight's nothing exciting. It used to be a bit faster when we got what's it called, counters. I meant to. No special, but yeah, we used to get counters, and it's not fast. It's the only time it saves really is just in this fight. We'll get it later. We have to go back there, but it's not worth it to take 2 trips. So what counters does is if you hold your block button like that, it'll block, and then it'll also do damage to the enemy that it's attacked you. So it's very useful on this fight because it's really easy to tell who he's gonna attack, but it's not very useful in the sense that it takes like a minute to go back and get it. So
you say it's easy to tell who's going to attack. He just straight up tells you who is going to attack.
Yeah, it's not really easy. It's more like just slapped in the face with it. Like it just says something about wearing underwear on the outside of your pants. Obviously, that's going to be superhero. I don't know why I countered there. I couldn't. So we're almost done with this fight. It's quite a slow fight. There's not too much we can do to speed it up. We will use superhero's ability here though, and that'll finish him off. I mean, like a 3-minute fight. That's not very fast. I think my best is like a 2:10 somehow. Oh, he's at 3. Okay, that's cool. Get through. Also, what's fun to do is you can kind of just spam the block button and just keep doing the animation, and it doesn't really do. You'll still block. It's just something fun to smash. I got keepers there, which is a useful card. I still haven't gotten tongue punchers, which is the 3rd card in the trio cards that we need to use in the candy grind section. So now we got stuck in some cages with there's a hide and seek kid, Chronoculus, and the parents of the girl that we're with. And then we just kind of punched through the wall and we're able to escape. It's very, very useful how to have that. You got a hole in the wall and a vent that conveniently leads to the sewers, which we can just go up through. So this area, we need to get back inside somehow. And somebody has left us a costume pattern for what's it called? A ghost. So we...
The most generic Halloween costume ever.
Yeah, it's not super exciting, but the ghost has a special ability. I don't know what it's called, but you can hide essentially. Like essentially you just kind of hold B and you're not.
I think the word you're looking for is invisibility.
Yeah, that's the word. Yeah. The ghost becomes invisible, and you can go through. Like the reason we need is because we go past a guard, and we can go through this weird fence thing that we can't otherwise go through. So it saves quite a bit of time to wait, no, it doesn't save time. You have to do it. I don't know what I'm saying. I just say it saves quite a bit of time. It's just my generic catchphrase for speedruns. Everything we do saves time in some regard. So this snail is a pushover. He's already almost dead. But we are level 8 or 9, or 7 or 8 at this point, which is a little more than we'd normally be at. Oh, let's see, what level are we at? Level 7, almost 8, yeah. I guess we might be level 8 or 7 by this point, but we're almost level 8. And here's another kid that we have to get a duplicate card to. I just talked to him just so in case I forget about him, I'll remember later. Is it level 7 we can? Yeah, we can get another discount. Cool. Now, apparently I don't have enough for the wizard upgrade somehow. Please. And here's one of the secrets in the dental compound. It's like 2 others around the place, and another hide and seek kit we're getting.
Alright.
Most of the hide and seek kits we'll get later on. We don't really get too many now.
Well, whilst Bob is collecting stuff here, I'd like to mention that this game is currently 75% off on Steam.
Oh, is it? I did not
Yeah,
know
it
that.
is. I think it's about $3 right now.
Wow, yeah.
So-
Definitely a very fun game. I am a tad biased, though. But I've enjoyed this game. And also, we need more competition in the speedrun. So if anybody's interested in speedrunning this game, you can join as a Discord somewhere. But, yeah. Because it's not too much competition right now. It's pretty much just me. And that's about it. Mephis is there as well. Kind of. Okay. And what's your PV in any sense? Like 104 or something? Around that, I believe.
Something like that.
Yeah. I was gonna try to go for sub hour, but I just didn't want to. The RNG sucks in any percent. It's not very fun to run with at like a high level especially when there's nobody you're competing against really. And now we just fought. I don't know why that's there. I say that every time. There's just a little fight there that seems like they're very underpowered for what level we're at now. And we just kind of blow through those enemies. And now we just kind of fight this dude. Like I said, Chronoculus 2 is a pushover. He doesn't really do anything that he doesn't do in the first one. Like, he does hardly any damage and he doesn't have the clock. And the clock is what really set him apart as like a cool boss. Oh no, we got to take out the clock or else he's just gonna go back to full health again. But he didn't really do anything the second time. But yeah, it's just like any boss fight. Use your specials as much as possible. Use some cards if you need to, or if you can. Yeah, it's a pretty quick boss fight actually. Not bad. Oh, time freeze. Cool. Okay, he didn't do it on Jefferson. That's good. He's gonna use Jefferson's ability, and there we go. He is dead. He's not technically dead. We don't see him again, so. So we'll be, we're doing the escort now. We have to escort Everett and Lucy over to the laboratory. I don't know why, I forget why we have to do that, but we do. And this is probably where the greatest RNG comes from in the actually no. Where it comes from, just this escort section, especially in any percent, because these guys are very slow if you don't have all three, or if you have all three, it's very slow.
I can inform you why we're escorting them over there.
Oh, go ahead, yeah.
We need to get the talisman so they can go back in time.
That's true. They just end up hiding in that weird tooth in the middle, though. Why do we have to escort them all the way to the cross? That's probably something explained in the cutscene.
I don't know.
Skip. So, can't really complain too much about poking holes in the lore of this game. No, almost dead. Yeah. So soon we'll be switching over to a different costume. We'll be using Wizard instead of Pumpkin. Pumpkin's good, but he doesn't because we don't get his upgrade. He's not great late game. He's good early to mid game, but there gets to a point where his attacks and his damage and stuff, they don't scale as well as the others. So they kind of they don't increase as much with each level as the others do. So we have to stop using him at some point, or we can get his upgrade, which would not be faster because that's an extra almost 3,000 candy we have to get. So we just kind of replace him with Wizard at some point. So it's not bad. Wizard is his special isn't very good though. Pumpkin definitely has a better special, but Wizard is okay. It's okay on one enemy, but the way his special works is he does splash damage, so he does an equal amount of damage to every enemy in the fight. But if there's only one enemy, he'll do quite a bit of damage to one enemy. And also, we just got tongue punchers, so that's very good. Crap. Okay, I need to. Well, I guess it's fine. We don't use suckums too much here. I just don't want to replace a card that's on cooldown, because if we have to replace it, then chances are it's gonna it's just gonna stay in our pocket or whatever. We're not gonna use it. It's not gonna refresh. We have to use it for final boss. Okay, 21 health. And usually what we tend to go for in these fights that have 3 enemies or one of each type, we usually go for the magic enemy, because most of the time the magic enemies are the strongest. They do the most damage, and they can also heal. So we do not want them healing. That sucks. Because then we have to just do it all over again, essentially. Like, that's why the laboratory sucks. Once we get there after the escort. It's because the lab is got a lot of... it only has tech or magic enemies. The tech are fine. I mean, they're kind of powerful, but they're not horrible. But if you get hit with the wrong RNG with the magic enemies, if you've left them alive, you can pretty easily die. It's not something we want to have to risk, so we don't. So we almost always go for the magic enemies first. It's like not really a scenario where we don't. Okay, now we have the costume upgrade for Wizard, which means goodbye pumpkin, never to be seen again. Did I eat? I can't remember. Apparently I did not. I thought I hit the eat button. Fine. Then I'll wait on that. I like to wait for my cooldown on cards. Like, I could use the tongue punchers right now, but I don't really want to, because if I use the tongue punchers right now, then it's gonna have a different cooldown time than the snickets, which we typically want to use together. It's easy to remember if you use them all at once. If you're using them like 3 different battles, it can be kind of confusing to remember. So I usually use all 2 or 3 of them in the same fight, depending on how many I have. Actually, I should probably go back to the shop and buy the other one. I think that's ready now. So that's something I gotta do. Let's see. I might just use that. Yeah. That might have been worth it. It's annoying when enemies are like less than 30 health or something. You kind of just gotta essentially waste an attack on them, because it's better to just take them out, but you're just losing a lot of opportunity with damage output. Okay, lovely. I can definitely buy the 3rd card I need. We're gonna run back over here, and there it is, Pamela Mooses, and that's the last card we'll be using for pretty much the rest of the game. We'll be using it everywhere we can. And I forgot about this kid. That's another Trick or Treat kid. 3 out of 6. We will get the other 3 when we're candy grinding. Okay, my controller is stuck. Okay, we're good. Yeah, so now this is another secret we got. We had to blow the things out of the way. Birds. I don't know why I forgot the word for bird. But yeah, birds are gone, and we get that chest. Yeah, this RNG's been pretty awful. I think have I had 3 enemies in every fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, that tends to be how it goes in just runs. The best I've ever had was I had 1 enemy in every fight, except for 1 with 2 enemies. That's the best. I think that's the best RNG anybody's had. But yeah, I've had 3 enemies in every fight so far. Not very fun. It's annoying when you're on good pace and it dies because of escort. Luckily, I'm not on good pace, so we don't have to worry about it. I'm not on good pace, but I'm not on bad pace either. I'm like mid 5x pace, according to my splits. I just want a sub 2. Like, I'd have to mess up pretty bad to get a sub and not get a sub 2. So we're not worried about the time or anything. I made sure to give myself plenty of extra time on the estimate. Just like there was a record that stood for a long time, like 2 minutes and like 40 something, but nobody ran it. So it just kind of stood for a while. Hey, a 2-enemy fight. Let's go. My dogs are barking again because they're idiots. What are they doing? Anyway. Yeah, 2 enemies. I mean, usually I wouldn't be super excited about that, but because every other fight's with 3 enemies, I'll take that.
It's not going to live up to my lab, my marathon run,
Yeah, your
Right.
lab is insane.
where I got 1 enemy in every fight.
Yeah, that's the best RNG we've had there. Lab and Escort are the 2 biggest RNG points in the run. It's all about just, I don't know. I feel like they're the worst. Also, they're the strongest enemies in the run. So the better RNG you have, the quicker they're just gonna be. Like, it's just how it goes. Okay, we only lost like 2 minutes here. Let's go. All because of RNG. Okay, now we got the lab. Let's see how good my RNG is. Can we get some marathon luck? Is that gonna be? Oh, no. The answer is no. No marathon luck. Okay, all my cards are ready though, so I will be using them as I can. I don't want to use them super early on because I need to make sure I take out enemies first. I don't want to leave 3 enemies alive and use cards because then all 3 of them are going to attack me, and that's when you're really going to get screwed over by attacks and stuff. So I'll take out 1 more technician and then I will do it. I'll use the cards. They both use Dash a Splash. In case you couldn't understand, Dash a Splash just gives them splash damage. It's not anything exciting. It's just kind of annoying. Because then you pretty much are forced to heal after the fight. And so now this is where we just spam the cards.
So would this be a good time to do some more plugging?
Hey, go ahead, yeah.
All right, so yeah, if you weren't aware, we are doing a charity live stream for Child's Play. My cat has decided to make himself very loud.
He's just really excited
yeah, right.
about Child's Play.
I'm very exciting. Right now we are at $40 out of $100. So if you guys want to get in some donations, that would be great. I can read them out when they come in. And let's see here. The next incentive to come up is going to be Whistleblower Any Percent in a couple days' time. That's got a $55 limit on it. After that will be Showing Hamsters, which Kuno said he'd do if we reach $100. And there's also the FAC Outlast category on the final day. I believe it is. Yes, it is. And those should be interesting to watch. So yeah, back to you.
Alright, thank you. Yeah, that sounds like a fun time. Who doesn't want to see some hamsters for $100? Sounds like a fun incentive. But yeah, we're just going through the fights. This one wasn't horrible. We only had 2 enemies. 2 is better than 3. So as long as I didn't have the worst possible RNG. The worst RNG is 3. What are they called? Chemists. Those are the worst because they're the magic type. So they take a while to take out, and they can heal, and they can give you a really horrible attack that is gonna take you down pretty low, maybe even kill you. So that's not something I want to have to deal with. So this is the last fight in here with RNG. There's 3 fights with RNG. Which are these first 3? Okay, 2 chemists. I don't like that, but it's whatever. There's for whatever reason the 4th fight doesn't have RNG. It's one of the few normal enemy fights in the game that doesn't have RNG. I don't totally understand why, but I'll take it. No RNG is good RNG. But yeah, it's always like 1 chemist and 1 technician, and that is also a fight that we are forced to use. What's it called? Use a different costume than we want to. Like we are forced to use the hot dog costume we're gonna get now. Hot dog costume's kind of garbage. Most costumes that we don't use are kind of garbage. So there's a reason we don't use them. It could be worse. It's not like a big deal. It's because there's only 2. It's not something we totally have to worry about. If there was RNG in that fight, that would not be fun. Because not only would you have RNG, which is already itself not fun, but then you have to deal with RNG with a character you don't really want to use. So It is kind of strange how that fight you were forced to use RNG, or forced to use the hot dog. I guess I understand it. Kind of how it works. You gotta lure a dude out of his little room with the hot dog costume on. And also to note, I'm using the ability of the dude, the ghost right at that other door, because there's that one enemy right at the door can see you when you're walking in and out, and we don't need to fight him, so we don't. Well, we fight people if we need to until we get to a point where we're higher level. At some point in Candy Grind, we will fight every enemy we can, and then we'll just be resorted to using the respawnable enemies, because there's 3 respawnable enemies, and we don't want to attack them, or we don't want to fight them for candy and stuff until as late as possible, because they coincidentally give the least amount of candy in the area. So we definitely want to save that, so we don't have to, because it's just faster to attack other things if we have the opportunity to. So now we are about done with the lab. We have one little thing to do here. We won't come back in here, but we'll come back to another, like a different area. You'll see in a bit. But now we have grabbed the clock that we got from Chronoculus the very first time, and we've given that to Everett and Lucy, and they're going to try to figure out how to use that so we can go back to the past. But currently we are running around. We're trying to figure out a way to get to to where the talisman is. We just saw Dr. White, the evil dentist. We saw him go into his own little special place with the talisman in his hands. We're like, okay, we'll just follow him in there. So we thought, and then it showed us, or it showed him scanning his eyeball. So then we thought, okay, well, how do we get his eye to scan it? Because obviously our eyes don't look like his eyes, but a person's eyes who do look like his eyes are his own, if that makes any sense. So what I mean by that is we're going back to the past, and we're just gonna take his younger self. Also, we can talk to these statues, and they'll start doing some dancing, which technically loses time, but it's fun. I don't think you technically have to do that. It's a thing. I don't think it's a quest or anything. You don't get XP for it or anything like that, but
We have
nice.
a second. We just got a donation.
Oh, nice. Go ahead.
So we just got a $5 donation from Mifa. He says bubbles, and that was it. Thanks so much, Mifa.
Nice job,
You're
Lisa.
welcome.
Okay, and now we are heading over. This is the very last secret in the past that we have to get. So now we're talking to the younger version of the evil dentist. Right now he's not evil. The reason he doesn't like Halloween is because his mom never allowed him to do Halloween stuff, and he always had to wear what's that, headgear for like braces or whatever. So he didn't like that. Then that's made him into the evil dentist. So now we're taking him to the future, which, if you think about it, probably would cause a couple issues. But like having 2 of the same person at the same time at the same place. But we don't really discuss that at all. And there even gets to a point where they're fighting each other. But yeah, it's all cool. So now we are in the warehouse. We just hit level 9, which is important because we'll be utilizing our level in a second after we get through this area. So now we have to go trick-or-treat all these houses. They're just all cardboard. They're not real houses, because you couldn't tell from the lack of houses and it just being drawn with crayons or something. But this is his own little sanctuary that he trick-or-treats at or something. There's quite a few things that you can, like, all the little people you can talk to. They have like voice boxes and stuff. That's kind of, so them say they're like, oh, Dr. White, I love you, and stuff like that. And they're all trying to be friends with, or they're all friends with him because he's just made them all say that. And so we trick-or-treated all these houses, and the thing we needed from these houses are costume pieces, because we need to get a robot costume. this robot costume allows us to get in a box, go into his little bedroom, the inner sanctum is what it's called, and now we have the talisman. So technically, we could beat the game right now, but it's 100%. We are not done yet. We have to do quite a few more things. We have another 30 minutes ahead of us just of candy grinding and stuff. Isn't that fun? So now we talk to this dude. This is Dirtin, something like that. And he says, "I have this fertilizer. If you can figure out this movie I watched one time, what the name of it is." So he says to jog his memory, he'd need. Oh crap. Okay. That's not what I wanted. I guess I can just go back. But he said to jog his memory, he would need some sort of like a hot dog with all the fixins. He'd need a werewolf in a Letterman jacket, and then a orange superhero. So so we need costume upgrades for all three of these. Why did I go here? I did not want to go here. Okay, well I guess I'm here. I'll have to come back here. I don't know why I did this. Wait, no, I don't have to come back here. I don't know what I was saying. I'll have to come back to the sewers. So I'm fine. So this is where we learn. I forgot what I'm doing. This is where we learn counters. This is where we just hold the block button and then release it when we normally, and it does damage, and we take less damage as well. And so now we have that. We get that for level 6. And now that we're level 9 as well, we get a special meter that fills up a little faster. Always nice. And so now we have to leave, go out the store, and we also have to go over here to this kid who needs a duplicate card. And there we go. We got the duplicate card. How much candy now? Did I need 1,600 candy? I guess we'll find out right here. I can't remember if it was 16 or 14. Yeah, 16. Okay. So I'm like 100 short. I'll have to fight like one thing. But that's not too bad. We've gotten that, which I need to do before I fight anything anyway. Just because it's a bit faster. So I guess I'll change back to my normal setup. Where is it? So we need to fight one thing. And we'll probably get a couple things as well as we're over here. So we'll fight this dude. We're going to get our third to last trick-or-treat kid. There's also quite a bit of RNG in this area as well. It's not as bad as Escort or other areas like that, but it is pretty bad still. But overall, I usually find that it pretty much balances itself out. I could kill this dude right here, but I need just the cards before I do that, and then I can kill him. So I double the XP, double the candy, and get 100 candy for winning. Now he's dead. And we got all the extra candy and XP and stuff. So now I have enough to talk to this kid. Now I have enough to get the hot dog upgrade I still needed? Whatever the upgrade was I needed. I'll avoid that dude for now. And run down here. And yeah, okay. Let me just, while I'm thinking about it, double check all the maps. Okay, I don't have the secrets here yet, but I should have them everywhere else. Yep, okay. So now I need to switch again back to the werewolf and the hot dog along with the superhero. Yeah, okay, cool. So now he's figured out the name of the movie. The name of the movie was The End, because that's the last words it said. So he's a little confused, but he's got the spirit. So now we're heading back to the past. We have to use this fertilizer on this little tree, the seed that we planted, we took from that kid right there. And now as you can see, the fertilizer helped it grow quite a bit. It's quite a large tree, as you'll see in a second. But we're gonna run over here, get the second to last trick-or-treat kid, hide-and-seek kid, whatever they're called.
You could say that tree is quite thick.
It is a thick tree. You're not wrong. So we're gonna run up here, and this is the last costume in the game. Yeah, last costume in the game. We got everything else. So we're gonna run up here, and
we do this for like a minute or something. No, it's like 30 seconds. I think we go up this tree. It takes like 20 seconds to fall down. You'll see how tall the You'll see how tall the tree is once we get up to the top. But it's supposed to be quite tall because we're getting the solar system outfit, which apparently is good, but I don't use it because I don't know. I think the old record used it, but I'm not sure. So now you can see the little Earth all the way down there. This is how tall it's supposed to be. Like it's a very very thick tree, in fact. And now we fall for 20 seconds. So we have a couple more things to do before we really start candy grinding. We get, I think, 3 more secrets. We get, what do we get? We have to fight a couple things, up here. Oh, no, that's the wrong thing. Yeah, here's the secret. I think there's, how many more secrets? There's this secret. There's another one somewhere. So we fight this dude. I don't think this gives us too much candy because it's a dental drone. The dental drones don't typically give us too much candy, but it's kind of in our way, and we have to fight stuff anyway. So we're starting now. Yeah, there's a couple fight. Every enemy that doesn't respawn, we fight at some point. Because, like I said earlier, there's a card that we need a duplicate of, and that can be gotten from any fight in the area. So we have to make sure we get that. Plus, the non-respawnable enemies give you more XP and candy, so we definitely want to use them. So we want to try to duplicate, or not duplicate. We want to try to double the candy we get from them as much as possible, because it's just faster. Because if you double the candy from them, you'll get more of a payout than if you're double the candy on the drones. So it's very useful. He's almost dead. So yeah, once we really start candy grinding, it'll probably only be like 15 minutes of just straight candy grinding, which isn't too bad. Maybe 20 if I'm bad, but I need to see how much candy I need to get exactly. It's gonna be a lot of repetitive stuff once we really get there, but it's all about buying those creepy treat cards. That's the main thing. The costumes cost more, but there's a lot less of them. And also, as a reminder, we don't have to get the DLC costume. So there's the costume upgrade for Pumpkin, which I believe is like 2,700. We do not need to get that, fortunately. If we did, we'd have to probably grind for another couple minutes, because every 1,000 candy is quite a lot. So we're really there's not too much we can do to speed up these fights, because we can't use any cards that help us attack more, because we have to have our cards for the double XP, double candy, and stuff like that. We have to have those with our party the whole time, just because otherwise we won't be able to use them if we don't have them in our party the whole time. And so essentially the fastest we can do is just grab everything, like use all of our special abilities, stuff like that. So let me check. Are we done? What's the other secret? Oh, I remember the secret. Yeah. I'm done. So now we go up here, last trick or treat kid, and then this gives us the hide and seek kid. I've said it every time. It's the last hide and seek kid of the whole game, and it gives us the infinity buckets, and now we can hold infinite candy, so we don't have to worry about it. I'm gonna smack this a couple times, and then I didn't even move. I need some. Well, we were about to attack him anyway. So this dude, just kind of nothing exciting. He's a mold. Like, he's got 700 health. I've done 150 in just one attack. Almost dead already. See, that should do quite a bit. Yeah, 72 health. He might even die with this counter right here. He's also quite easy to tell what direction he's going to. Yeah, there you go, he's dead. And I did get the duplicate, so I think I'm good. Let me grab this. We want to just cut out as much candy grind as we need to later. So now we've got everything we need. We don't have anything else to do other than grind for candy. So I'm gonna quickly run down here. Let me talk to this dude first. That's the last quest. I believe. Again, I'm gonna check. It's the marathon run. Yeah, okay. So we're good there. And now we just buy as much as we can. So that's all we gotta buy. We have one more costume and just a bunch of cards to buy. There's a couple respawnable enemies or non-respawnable enemies we're gonna fight, but in a second, once we fight this one, we're gonna fight a dude who's there's three enemies inside the laboratory. There's the most powerful normal enemies that run around or that walk around. They're in the Dr. White's sanctum or whatever that area where you got all those cardboard houses and stuff. There's two of them in there that are the most powerful. So we're gonna wait till we're level 10 till we go in there. Otherwise, it becomes quite difficult to beat them. Okay, he's dead, and I also need to remember to use those. Just, like I said, using cards as much as possible, just to speed up our candy and XP intake. Because without those cards, it would take a lot longer. Like, I know 27 minutes is a long time, but it would take 30, 40, or like 40 minutes to do all this. And now we're level 10, so once we loop back around to there, we will make sure to go fight the dudes in the... I still don't know what that thing's called. I almost just picked up the talisman, and I would have just started the final boss. Which I could run away from, but it would waste time. So now we're fighting some of these dudes. We've got 3 in here that we're going to be fighting. And then that's going to be... Well, we have 3 in here. We have 2 in the sanctum. And then we have 2 on the left side. And then that's all the non-respawnable. And then that's when we're just purely candy grinding for absolutely as much candy as we can get, just until we're left out, or until we're finally able to escape purgatory and just fight the final boss. That's the last thing we do before the final boss is candy grind. We go straight from the last enemy we attack straight into the final boss. So it's quite a lot.
So have we decided what we're gonna do during candy grinding yet?
Did anybody have any suggestions? I can't look at the chat.
Nope. Not at all.
That's a good question.
I mean, I could ask you questions.
Go ahead, yeah.
Sure,
Sounds like
a little
idea.
Q&A.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. I've got some questions prepared. So, curious, how did you get into speedrunning?
This was the first game I speedran. I've just always been kind of interested in just playing games fast. I feel like that's something that's cool. And I'd seen somebody play through this game on YouTube, I don't know how many years ago. I mean, it might have been the year it came out. And they never finished the game, which kind of annoyed me. So, one Halloween a couple years ago, I bought the game. And then a couple years later, I'm like, I should try speedrunning. So I did. And I enjoyed it. I moved on to other games since, but this is the one that I started with.
Which other games do you run then?
The main one that I've put the most time into is Super Mario Odyssey. That's probably my favorite speed game. Very, very fun.
I don't think I've ever finished Odyssey. Let's see.
Yeah, I beat it.
So is
a couple times.
Sorry.
No, it's good. Go ahead.
So is there like any sort of like interesting tech that you might be doing that like we just aren't able to sort of tell, or is it just hit the prompts at the right time?
Well, I guess it's not really technical. It's more like something I just have done with a lot of experience with this game. Is you have to like, there's a lot more routing that or not necessarily routing, but there's a lot more thinking that goes into fights than you would think. Because like I know right here, I know which one I'm gonna attack first. Like I pretty much anytime I see a new fight, I know the best way to do it. So like right there, I went for the Jefferson's powerful to attack, so I fought the tech dude first, and then I'm fighting the monster dude first, and then I'm gonna finish off the tech dude with with Wizards, I know he'll be able to finish him off and do a little bit more damage to the other two. Like just a little bit of like pretty much every fight. I know like the most optimal way to go through everything, like what order to do stuff in, based on who's more powerful to stuff and just the abilities in general. So like that's probably the tech that you wouldn't really think that's important, but like that saves a lot of time with the run, just optimal fights and stuff. Not necessarily like doing the most damage with each attack, just having to go through and optimally like what order to do stuff in and all that. Because there's a you can definitely mess up fights up like pretty badly if you don't do it properly.
So sort of in a way, it's kind of like when you're a chess grandmaster, you sort of just know for like the first 100 moves, like, okay, if this is the situation, this is what I need to do.
Of course, I'm exactly like a chess grandmaster. It's
Exactly like
yeah,
a chess
no
grandmaster.
difference.
So what is your favorite part of the run?
Favorite part of the run. I definitely enjoy like the I guess it's could be considered the mid game. Like you go from Old Auburn Pines to downtown. That's my favorite part of the run because it's a lot of especially I like it more 80%, but it's still pretty good in 100% as well. Because you're going through all these areas, you don't spend too much time in either one, and you go around and you see quite a lot of stuff, and you're just going around quickly doing a lot of things, and getting to see a lot of areas and stuff. I enjoy that part the most.
I would have to agree. The start game and the end game kind of drag a bit. The mid game is quite quick.
Yeah, that is definitely fun because the early game is like any RPG is pretty slow, especially since you have to like fight absolutely everything to try to level up, and then late game there's so much RNG that affects everything. It just kind of drags a bit. But mid game is the nice middle game. It's not really much RNG. Pretty fun.
So the game is basically grind, fun, RNG. Got it.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I'm kind of surprised you didn't say that the candy grind is your favorite part.
Oh,
I say
yeah,
sarcastically.
I must have forgotten about. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, who
So,
doesn't love candy grind?
Candy grind is amazing. So I think I already know the answer to this, but what is your least favorite part of the run?
Least favorite part for 100%, the candy grind is just boring. Like, there's nothing really to. Can't sugarcoat it. It's just boring. There's not much to do. It's quite repetitive and stuff. But outside of candy grind, I'd say probably my least favorite part of the run is just the heavy RNG in late game, because you'll get to a run on really good pace, and then it just dies to nothing of your control, which is just kind of frustrating sometimes. Like you'll get to, especially when you get up to Escort. Escort's really when it starts, because those, like I said when we were there, like the RNG on there is pretty heavy. Same with Lab. But once you make it past Lab, and you're still on good pace, you're almost guaranteed to get, like, if you're still on PB pace and stuff, you're almost guaranteed to get a PB. Because the final boss is pretty easy. Like, and we know, like, what to do and stuff like that. As long as you don't mess up something, as long as you're full health, you're good. And as long as you're level 9 as well. Once you hit level 9 in the Talisman split, that's how you know you're on good pace. If you hit level 9 and you're not behind, you're probably going to PB. Usually how it goes.
So you had said for 100% that was your least favorite. What's for any percent?
Any percent? Yeah, probably still Escort in Lab. It's so awful. Like, it's not anything that you can control a lot of the time. Like, we have no way to manipulate RNG. You just kind of have to pray and hope that you have somewhat decent RNG. Because if you don't, then it's just kind of over. But then you could also have a bad early to mid game, and then it could be carried by good RNG at the end. So you never know. That's why typically you don't want to reset too much, just because of the RNG.
Yeah. So do you have any sort of advice for anybody just starting speedrunning this?
My biggest advice is just to don't reset. Like, you might, because this goes really any speed game, but you'll see people who are like experienced with the game getting all these good times, and then you try to do it yourself, and you realize that they've been doing it for a while, and they are actually like they know what they're doing and they're good at the game. And when you're just starting out, you're not really experience yourself, and it can be quite frustrating when you don't get the runs that you want, but just don't reset. That's a very dangerous slope to start going down, because once you start resetting to some dumb stuff, then you're just gonna keep doing it, and then it's just gonna ruin your speedrun mentality when you're just resetting at every little mistake early game.
Right. And I mean, like, that's sort of a thing that you have to, like, if you play an instrument, like, that's kind of a thing that you have to keep in mind with, like, when you're practicing a piece, is if you mess up early, don't stop. Just keep going, because otherwise
Yeah.
you'll have that first part really down, and the rest of it you have no idea what you're doing. You gotta sort of pace it out over the whole thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, yeah.
Yeah. So, casually, like, what's your favorite game to play? Like, if you're not speedrunning it?
I'm gonna be honest, I really only speedrun stuff nowadays, but
I mean, that's fair.
I agree. I don't really play
Yeah,
anything casually
like-
anymore.
yeah, I don't. When was the last time I played something casually? It's difficult to remember.
Okay,
Was it Minecraft?
I'll ask something
I think I
different
played
then, like-
Minecraft last, but yeah, usually nowadays that's all I'm doing, speedrunning.
Yeah.
My last casual
So,
game was Jackbox Party.
Jackbox. So I guess in that case, like, I'll rephrase. What do you do for fun, like, when you're not speedrunning?
I VC a lot with my friends and stuff. I guess because I play a lot of Minecraft. Like, I don't play a lot, but like I play a decent amount of Minecraft with my friends and stuff. That's just what I do to stay connected and stuff. Because like especially when you stream a lot, it's very difficult to just kind of forget that you have friends. You just keep thinking about streaming and stuff like that. But it's difficult to kind of take a break sometimes and just remember to not stream every day for 6 hours a day.
Yeah,
That's what I've
I
had
had made that
trouble with,
mistake when I
yeah.
first. Yeah, I made that mistake when I first started. I burned out pretty bad. It was.
Yeah.
I did not play a video game for 2 years.
Yeah,
It
that's
was,
something
it was not-
you definitely want to avoid. Yeah.
yeah. Let's see. Oh God. So how difficult would you say it is getting into speedrunning this game?
I don't think it's difficult. Like I said earlier, it's just all about your mentality. Like that's the most important thing with speedrunning at any level in any game. It's just your mentality. Because if you're not having a fun time with the game and you're just frustrated, it's very difficult to like keep pushing your PB down. But if you have a good mentality about it, then it's very easy to just keep going and have more fun with it. So like that's probably the most difficult thing, just having a good mentality. Like especially when you see a lot of like high level players and you're trying to copy what they're doing and it's not working. It's difficult to break past that.
I'd say if you want to get into learning an RPG or like a turn-based RPG, this is a good start. It's not particularly difficult to learn at all. There's not that much.
Yeah.
The game's quite short compared to most RPGs.
Yeah, that's another thing. It is quite short. Like 80%'s like just over an hour, and like pretty much anybody starting out can get like sub 130 probably first try. As long as you know like where you're going and stuff, you can probably get sub 130 for your first run, I would guess. It's just it's not too much to it. Like the movement is just hold down the dash or the boost button or whatever you call that. It's not very intuitive. It's just gonna press a button and move forward.
So coming from somebody who's only done speedruns an hour or less, how is it? What's the most frustrating thing about doing a 2-hour speedrun?
When you gotta pee in the middle of the run, you just gotta deal with it. I've had so many runs because I drink a lot of water. I should drink less water when I'm doing a 2-hour speed run, but when you're bathroom is definitely very difficult. I guess that's more of an incentive to just finish the run, because the quicker you finish, the quicker you can just go to the bathroom.
Gotta go that much faster.
Yep.
So you had mentioned Minecraft, vanilla or mod packs?
Oh, I'm not a big mod person. I'm definitely vanilla. I play a lot of servers and stuff like Hypixel.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tech it for me. Tech it classic.
Nice.
See, I've tried to speedrun Minecraft, but on my like normal Minecraft launcher, it just like that's where my audio issues are the worst. It just refuses to play without just destroying my audio, which is why I am unable to hear the actual game audio now because my computer decided to just stop.
Well, you see,
Is it still making the noises?
Nope, it's good.
Well, no, because I muted it, so you wouldn't be able to hear it. Like through my
Oh.
headset, it's making noises. Oh yeah, it's still freaking out. Yeah. Been what, over an hour since then?
Something like that. Do you know why it does that? Like, because that was
No.
ear piercing.
No, no clue. I see it. Sometimes you, like it's happened on stream before a couple times. Sometimes it doesn't make any noise to stream, and it's just like I've even had it before, where you could still hear me talking, and just my audio just was freaking out. Sometimes, like it happened today, then I guess stream could hear it. It's just I don't know why it happens. I need to figure it out, but it's been happening on and off for a while. It's very frustrating. I gotta say, I've done as much as I figured. Like I've uninstalled the devices for Device Manager. They're all up to date. I don't know what the issue is. If I knew what the issue is, I'd fix the issue.
Like Vespipe asks, have you tried using Optify to record Minecraft?
Wait, you can. Oh, you mean like just using Optify?
I'm unsure. I'm just.
I didn't know you like. Unless it's just repeating the question.
Pretty much.
I have not. The thing that's weird though is I can use the normal launcher, or I can't use the normal launcher. Sorry, but I have a client for Hypixel, and that works fine. But that's just for 1.8, so I can't like use current versions and stuff. So maybe if I get a client for 1.16, it'll work fine, and I just won't have to use the normal thing. Maybe it is the launcher. So that's an issue.
Always possible.
Yeah. But
And I sort of. I will take a break from the questions for a moment just so I'm able to plug our charity, Child's Play. It is a wonderful charity that works to provide hospitalized children and teens with access to video games during their recuperation time. I'd just like to remind people you can type !donate to get the donation link, where you can donate as much or as little as you'd like, as long as your message is family friendly. You might even hear it read on stream. If you need another reason to donate, just remember you can write off the amount on your taxes because they are a 501c3 organization. No matter what, though, we appreciate you all for being here to support this wonderful charity. And right now we are still at $45 out of 100. We have $5 towards our whistleblower any percent incentive, but otherwise we have not gotten any more donations in, unfortunately. So, like, you said that the candy grind is just, like, so tedious, and I can see what you mean. Like, in general, how long does it normally take, do you think? Like,
that's
20 minutes?
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty good because we're not like the whole time. Because I split after we enter the or after we've gotten the talisman, and so like my split time is 27 minutes is my goal, but we don't. It's not really that long because we do other stuff as well. Like we get that extra costume, we get some more secrets and stuff. So it doesn't really take 27 minutes. It's just how long the split is. But it's 20 something minutes typically.
Go ahead, Rifa.
Gonna plug my run on Friday, where I'm doing Family Guy Back to the Multiverse 100%. And we also have.
I guess we should do that.
We also have a money grinding segment, but the money grinding segment in that game is a lot more input intensive. So like every 5 seconds you're flicking the mouse around and like skipping a cutscene just to grind for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, at least this is pretty chill. Like you don't really have to think about it too much. I haven't been thinking about it. Just kind of pressing buttons.
Just sort of mindless button action. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. I will need to. We're down to the last couple minutes here. So there's not too many more things I need to buy.
That's good.
Another sweep around and we will see how much I need. But yeah, these cards that we use save so much time with grinding and stuff. It would take a lot longer without them. I need to see if I'm level 12 yet, or level 11 yet or not, because I don't need to stop using that. The tongue punchers. Because there's no way we're going to get level 12, so there's no point using it after level 11. Yeah, we are level 11. So let me change to this card. Nope, that's the wrong card. Where'd it go? Sour Dumps instead of Tongue Punchers. That card's important because we need to use that like the final enemies we attack. We need to make sure we use that because okay, we have 2 more, almost done. Because we need to use that to get our specials all the way back to full. So if our card's already here, this might be the last one. No, it's not. So it's gonna be like this fight and I think one more. We're quite close.
So, if I could just interrupt for a second, we have a $50 donation from
Nice.
Mirne. He says, let's get that run, Kappa. Thank you so much, Mirne. Yeah, she is going to be the next host and also couch for the next run, which is going to be Fuzzy Games playing Hollow Knight LL Skills. So stick around for that after this one. But yeah, back to watching more Candy Grind, which is
Yep.
honestly, it's like not the worst grind I've ever seen. Like,
Yeah, it's just kind of repetitive. It's not anything difficult or like unexciting. It's just kind of.
I would imagine
kinda
that
here.
there's quite a bit of interest in trying to figure out a way how to skip Candy Grind. Just try to.
Oh yeah,
optimize
if we
that.
could figure out some way to get candy elsewhere, because these fights are not quick fights. They're quite like 3 enemies right here. Quite slow. Yeah, this is the last fight we'll be doing, and then we will go fight the final boss because we've got our cards ready, so that'll put us up to enough candy. So yeah, I think this one will give us 600, put us at 900. We only need like 700, like 800 maybe. So we'll be very close. You never already used the cards, actually. Yeah. And I also need to make sure I use the one that gives us all our specials. Let's do that now. Let's not forget. Because then I have to fight somebody else, and that would be slow. So yeah. Not a horrible candy grind, I'd say. It was I didn't do as well grinding earlier as I wanted, but I'll still take it. It's not horrible.
Right. So I was sort of in and out a little bit, I'll admit. I wasn't sure if you've covered this so far, but would you mind sort of explaining just sort of the story of the game? Like, because like I said, I'm not quite sure if you've covered it or not. From what I'm able to tell, it's sort of dystopian future, and kids are trying to save the past or something.
Yeah, we've covered it a little bit, but not like super sense. So it's essentially there's this evil dentist. He doesn't like Halloween, and he has somehow managed to get this talisman that has allowed him to get rid of, like, build this army so that he gets rid of Halloween. And so now that he's done that, he kind of rules this dystopian future. And yeah, it's not a very extensive lore. Like, at some point we get this time travel device from what's his name? Chronoculus. We get that from him, and then it gets taken away when we get captured. And so we try to go back to the past to stop him, because that's where he goes and gets the talisman. We fail. A lot of other stuff happens, but then we end up back in the future, and then our goal is to get that talisman again. We have to go through. That's where we go through all the downtown and with all the neighborhoods and stuff like that. Is where we go. And then yeah, now we're in there, and then we end up at the dental compound, and that's where we have to try to get the clock to go back in the past, so that we're able to get the what's it called? The talisman. We have to go back and get the young evil dentist dude. We have to go get him so that we can get the talisman, and then that's pretty much it. And then once we get him, we're able to go get the talisman, and then we can fight the final boss. Right after we get the talisman, when we could fight. We could have fought the boss like 20 minutes ago, but we did not.
Right. So we just got another $5 donation from Superplay. I couldn't let it sit $5 short for the kids. And that brings us to our full $100 goal. So thank you all very much. Pretty nice that we met our goal 2 days in. There's still 3 more days left. And yeah. It's very nice. And remember, all of this is going towards a very good children's charity. So that's very good.
People were just so excited with the candy grind, they just had to donate.
Exactly. It's the candy grind. That's why. It was, hey, if we give money, maybe this will go by a little bit faster.
Yeah, maybe.
Candy is directly, money directly translates to candy, don't you know?
Yeah. Also, I want to say time is coming up rather soon. It should be like 1 or 2 more attacks, and then it's over. Yeah, this next hit after this, the attack from superhero, it'll be time. I'll say it. Once it fades out, it's time. So that is second. And it's time. Sub 2 wasn't the greatest run, but this would have beat the record like a month ago. So that's nice.
Very good job.
Not bad. I'll take that. RNG kind of sucked instead of the audio going up, but still pretty fun.
Could have been worse. Computer could have crashed.
That is true. I commentated a run for Odyssey a while ago, and as soon as the stream started, my Chrome crashed and I had to restart my PC. So we have nothing like that happen. So it's always good.
Rip. So yeah, if you have anything to plug, now would be the time. Otherwise, thank you very much.
I'll plug my Twitch real quick. It's twitch.tv/BobLovesCheese. I mostly do Odyssey as of now, but I'm probably gonna stretch out to more games because I've hit affiliate, so I don't have to grind Odyssey anymore. But yeah, that's about it. I don't really need to plug anything else. Follow if you want to, don't if you don't. That's about it.
Congratulations on affiliate, and let's hear it for BobLovesCheese. That was a really awesome run of Costume Quest 2. Coming up next is going to be Fuzzy Games playing Hollow Knight All Skills with Mirne. Unfortunately for you all, chat, my time with you has come to an end. Mirne is also going to be doing hosting from here on out, but don't worry, she's going to do a wonderful job, and you'll see me again in a couple days. Thank you so much for being here, and awesome that we met the donation goal. Thank you all.
All right. So, real quick before we move on to the next round, I just wanted to say thank you so much to Super Colliders for that $5 donation, saying I couldn't let it sit at 5 short. The kids! Thank you so much, Super Colliders. We definitely appreciate that.